everybody. Welcome to Get Your Chocolate On.
I'm Dr. Amanda Kemp.
I'm Miss Makeda.
Oh, I love
You
that.
like that?
Miss
I think that was good
Makeda.
too.
Okay. And we're your co-hosts of Get Your Chocolate On.
Yeah, welcome.
Today's episode is sponsored by Racial Justice from the Heart, my company. And what we do is we create racial justice education and trainings and help women of color learn to stand in their power and heal, and we help people of all races become more effective advocates for racial justice.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So,
Amazing work you're doing, Amanda.
you can call me Dr. Mommy.
Okay.
So, today, what is our episode focusing on?
Got a few topics going on here. We are taking a look at the exit polls for the election. Is that what they're called?
Yep.
Exit statistics polls, whatever. Just trying to look, see some trends, whatever's going on. And I also just want to, ask my hero some questions.
Okay, we told people we're talking about feminism.
Yeah, well, I see you. Are you a feminist?
Yes. I said a little pause because now
pause.
feminism, you guys say, I'm a black feminist. Yes, I'm a black feminist. Am I saying I'm a feminist? Well, then we got to talk about some of the white spots in feminism.
Agreed.
But I'm going to go out there and say, yes, I'm a feminist.
All in all,
I'm a
there's
feminist.
normally an answer.
Frederick Douglass was a feminist. So
We love Fred.
we do. We have t-shirts with him in this house.
Okay, so first I just want to know, when you were a little girl, what was your dream job?
Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to be honest. This is going to sound weird, but when I was 7, my dream job was to be president.
Oh my God!
I know.
Who was president when you were 7?
Oh, so that would have been like 1973-ish. I don't know, Gerald Ford.
I don't hear much about him.
No,
I gotta
because
say.
he finished out Nixon's term and then he was not elected again.
Okay.
He was also known as the falling president. Like, he
Oh.
fell down a lot. He tended to trip.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he got caught on camera tripping.
Did they make did you notice the first lady at all when you were, because I know as
No,
a girl,
I
feel
never
like-
thought of the first lady.
Never? Okay.
Not until Hillary Clinton
Oh yeah.
did I start thinking about the first lady as a political position.
It's funny because I feel like Eleanor Roosevelt sort of got that momentum
Oh
going.
my gosh, you're right.
And then it just fell flat, and then Hillary showed up a few
That's a
decades
good
later.
point. And when I was a little girl, though, I didn't know anything about Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yeah, it takes a while to learn about Eleanor.
But I remember writing a story when I was in 6th grade. It was we were told, it was like, I'm not sure if it was supposed to be an essay or if I just made it fiction. But I decided to make myself president in my story. And I had my husband, who was like the first gentleman.
Oh my God!
I know, isn't this interesting?
So funny. You know what's weird? Has there ever been an unmarried president?
Yes, Buchanan, our local connection guy,
Yay.
Lancaster, PA, James Buchanan. Remember who
Yeah.
lived with him? Do you remember his
No.
who was living with him?
No.
My God, she did all these
I did the James Buchanan house tour. I was like in 5th grade, so I don't remember much.
wearing period upper class lady costume.
Hoop skirts. Hoop
Yeah.
skirts. I love the hoop skirts.
They didn't talk about race at all in their little thing.
No.
Nope. They just put all them girls in big hoop skirts as if they all would have been upper class,
Well, what were they supposed to do? Put the black kids in like slave clothes?
No, because we would have let you do that.
I hope you would.
But I think they could have showed more variety about women in that time period and more variety in the household.
I mean, that's fair, but women couldn't even vote when Buchanan was president, so
I know. It's something.
it really is. It's unique.
And here we are.
Here we are.
2020 with a vice president-elect.
It's
Black woman, a self-declared black woman of
Yeah.
South Asian descent.
I don't think I'll be truly satisfied until we do have our very first gentleman.
Yeah.
Then it's really gonna be, and I think AOC's husband would be perfect for the gig.
Oh
Just
my God.
Throwing it out there.
I think that would be fun. I think AOC would be amazing to have her as a president. I think
Even
that would be
just
really
in the
fun.
White House as an advisor, I think she could be good. Either way.
I know. Why not, like, I know, as an advisor, good idea.
Right? Because,
What
we don't want her to catch all the heat. When you run for president, you
Oh,
catch a
it's
lot
awful.
of heat.
But-
a lot of smear campaigns.
Yeah. So, Makeda, I'm not seeing any comments. So, hey, everybody, if you're on, go ahead and let us know. And let us know, what did you want to be when you were a kid? And Makeda, let me
I was
put the
going to
question
say,
back to
hang on
you.
a second.
What did
Hold
you want to
on.
be when you were a kid?
It is so funny because my mom, I was just a very peculiar child. I fantasized about working in a cubicle. It was just
That's right.
I thought it was the coolest thing. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I'll never forget. I went in an office one day and I actually saw it in real life, and it was like I saw a celebrity, or like my dream job. I was starstruck looking at all these cubicles in the office. I used to play with just computer keyboards, just typing away at nothing. I was just
You
a
did.
weird kid. I don't know.
And you used to like the cash register game that we gave you for
That
Christmas.
might have been my dream job.
you would say, and so I don't know. You played some kind of game where you said, "Amanda, come to the principal's office."
Oh my gosh, I wanted to be a teacher as well. That was a big obsession of mine. I used to try to teach her the things that I was learning in school.
That's really good.
It is good. It's interesting. It's certainly interesting.
And you are a fifth generation college student.
Oh my god.
I know that's a big issue in our family. We tease
It's
about
a
that.
sensitive topic.
For some people, it's sensitive.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because how often there's a presumption that first generation college students are going to be black, or that black students in college are first generation.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, that is true. In my situation, that was true. In Makeda's situation, that is super untrue.
True.
Yeah, she's fifth generation. And the fact that she wants to be, that she liked to play the teacher game, I mean, she came through that honestly.
Through it honestly.
Generations of
truthfully.
teachers.
I mean, it's true. I just loved it. It was something about it. Probably because I was around teachers all the time. I'm not sure, but yeah, I was always thinking about working. And then it turns out I'm not a fan. Not much of a worker, a laborer. But I got some interesting stats for us.
Okay, I just feel like we need to make sure everybody can see this.
Okay, while you do that, I'm pulling my stats up.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
So, first interesting thing, only 13% of all eligible voters are black. But then I guess what I hadn't looked up was what the percent of black people in America is.
Yeah, so we were kind of more like 1 in 10, 1 in 12. So 13% is like,
It adds up, it's a little more.
it's around there.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
There was that. And then we had 55% of white female voters voting Trump, which is interesting because I think that's actually a leg up from when people were voting in 2016 between Hillary and Trump.
Yes, we have to talk about that. It turns out that the statistic from 2016, where they said 53% of white women voted for Trump rather than Hillary, Pew Charitable Trust, or the Pew Research Foundation, they went back and they said no, it wasn't that high. It was not that high. It wasn't 53% of white women who voted for Trump.
It's so funny. Yeah,
Trump still won a plurality of white women voters, but he did not win the majority.
Okay, so Hillary won the majority.
Well, no, he won the plurality, which means that it means nobody won the majority.
Oh, okay.
So even though there were only two major candidates, there was also a libertarian and there was a green candidate.
I see.
So he won the plurality. He did not win a majority. And so when we look at these exit polls, I think we need to look at them with a grain of salt, because in more time, I think the research will be better about what actually happened. These are like hot off the presses.
Exactly. And when I was reading them, I was thinking, how big is this research pool? Who conducted this study? Was it conducted in one state or a lot of states? Like, a lot of that stuff matters. From what I could tell, the way it was consistent, especially with like a 48% versus a 52%, or even some of them didn't even add up to 100. It was more like 99, 98. So it added up that way. It was pretty consistent. It was either straight off to the left and straight off to the right, or they meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very close.
I found it interesting. We don't talk about Hispanic people a lot on here.
Okay. You mean the Latino, Latinx, Hispanic?
Yeah. And I feel like, so 30% of those women voted for Trump. And that was just really interesting to me.
Well, how many? Well, let's compare them. So they're saying 50%,
55%.
55. We know that number is probably going to go down with better research, but it's still a
Really?
big
I
chunk.
think it's going to go up.
Really? Okay, I shouldn't say we know. What do I know? I think the number will go down because it went down last time. But let's say it is still in that 50 range. And then the 30% of Latino, Hispanic women, Latinx women voting for Trump. You know, I was listening to a podcast. It's called Democracy in Color. I totally recommend it to you all. They have two hosts. One is a black man, and the other one is Julie Martinez, Dr. Julie Martinez, who's Mexican American, and she was saying that we really have to start disaggregating, breaking up what we call the Hispanic vote, because it is so different based on regions. So where I'm coming to is I'm thinking in Florida, he had a lot of Cuban voters. He had a lot of Cuban women who voted for him, clearly, because he had a lot of the Cuban Latino vote in Florida, where in California and Texas, he did not have.
I think that's because in places like Florida, it's a lot easier to reap white privilege.
If you're Cuban. Oh, yeah.
Than it would be in other areas. So they're like, it makes sense.
It's a different, you're right, it is a different history.
Exactly.
It's a different history in Florida than it is in the Southwest or California, where, land was stolen from Mexico and the people there were then told, you're in America now.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's different than if you came over as an immigrant, because you didn't like Castro and then you got some special goodies because you're an anti-communist. I mean, you're right, it is a totally different history and relationship.
It is. Andrea said something, and first, hi, Andrea. And second, so she said, I think the word socialism scared some.
Yes,
it definitely did. That word was weaponized a lot.
Yes.
And so was fascism against Trump in general.
But socialism, in terms of the Hispanic/Latino vote, that might have had a real, especially obviously amongst Cubans.
Because I'm wondering, can you give me like the rundown on socialism?
So I don't know if I can give you the rundown, but I could just say brief. What do you mean, like what is socialism?
Yeah.
Well, I think what I'll say about it is, do you want to know what people are afraid of about it? What they interpret it to mean?
Well, I want to know what it means.
You want to know everything.
First.
Okay, so what is it? So socialism is a form of government, this is my understanding, where the benefits of the government are dispersed socially to support, the wide majority of people rather than to, benefit more. So
it's like communism,
powerful.
but with the governments sharing everything instead of the people sharing everything.
Well, it's like it is related to communism, which is why some people are so afraid of it.
Yeah.
But how it gets implemented around the world is so varied. What people call socialism, like some people would say Canada has socialism, whereas just because
I've heard good things about Canada.
I know Canadians feel very good about themselves and their government. So I think it was weaponized, definitely, and it worked.
Yeah.
It seemed to work really well. Julie Martinez, and again, I'm going to go back to her as an authority, Dr. Julie Martinez, who looks at data and elections. She said that she thought that was an important factor, and that not enough was done to counteract that socialism fear.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. In terms of the Latino vote, she was talking about specifically the Latino vote. Looks like Gabriel Anthony Kemp is over here.
Looking very wise. You can't look wise. Either way. So, alright, I got another interesting statistic that called to me was this one. So we have 93% of all Trump voters said they would feel scared if Joe Biden won the presidency.
Wow, 93? Mm-hmm. Wow. Scared. That's a strong word.
Exactly. And then we have 96 of Joe Biden voters said they would feel scared if Trump won.
96.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what that tells me, which I feel like I say this all the time, we're really just living in two different places at once, and it's like they're just battling it out, seeing what's gonna happen. And we talked about this last week, or maybe we were in the store when we talked about this. How Joe Biden has a really divided America that's been handed to him. So it's gonna be interesting to see if he does anything with it to unite it at all.
Or what he can do.
That's because I don't see the way the history of this country works. I don't see a final answer where everyone gets along. Personally, I kind of see like a civil war situation, but not with violence. What I'm saying is like how the South seceded, like that type of thing. Okay, I'll read another fact. So this one kind of annoyed me. It's in every film, for every female film character, there are 2.24 men. And that got me thinking, because we have a lot of these mid characters, kind of average guys, and then we have these women coming in, and they're always given a specific role or a specific trope to fulfill. It's never, I feel like they don't have just kind of like a normal businesswoman, kind of like they would portray like Jim from The Office. Oh, he's just a normal guy, you know, it's not much like that. So, I don't know, I found that pretty interesting. My host has abandoned me here.
Well,
I have another one.
Why don't you ask the ask
I
our commenters? I heard what you said, and I was at a conference. I always have a little something to say, but it's true. I was at a conference, and a woman scholar was presenting, and she said that proportionally, the numbers of films that we should have featuring white males that are directed by white men, it should be something like 1 in 3. And instead, that number is incredibly skewed. So, but she made her own personal rule. She says for herself, though, she will only see 1 in 3 films with either white male leads or directed by white men.
Yeah, and I noticed you do this as well.
I do. I really look for films that are going to have women, that are going to have black people in them.
I think Netflix is doing that. I do, and I think Netflix is doing a really good job with like giving different characters more dimensions.
Yes.
I like that.
And promoting different films and filmmakers.
Exactly.
Especially now that the movies have closed, you know, the big theaters.
Well,
at least
they
haven't closed,
now, yeah.
but it seems like they're
no one's trying to push their movie out right now. It's obviously not going to be the time where you get max revenue.
It's right. You can't have these blockbusters because you don't have the number of people going inside the theater. So I think we're seeing more people Netflixing, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, and the good thing
Netflix
about that,
is my go-to.
It doesn't take as much money to get yourself onto Netflix as a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
You could actually. I was even thinking. I was trying to get my one of my movies on. Was it Netflix or Redbox? There's something where you can do that, you know. So these independent films, foreign films that you would normally get access to. So that's a good trend. I wonder if we could ask any of our viewers, what do you think about this whole thing about percentages of films by women, by people of color, or that feature leads, that kind of thing. Like, what's your own personal philosophy about that? We'd love to hear it. And
I like that. Honestly, I think it's easier to break into the writing and directing of the film industry because of you're not necessarily on the screen in the face front, you're in the background. Like, when I say this particularly, I'm thinking about Shonda Rhimes, who's like just busting out show after show after show, and they're like 16 season shows, like, and just the fact that she's started so early, has been able to do it so long, makes you think, you know, it can't be super hard. Granted, she is very talented.
She is very talented.
I feel like the film industry is opening up, and Netflix has had a big part in that.
I think we can't underestimate the new technology and how hungry these networks are to have programming.
Yeah.
And like there's someone, it's called Awkward Girl. And
are you sure?
It's called Awkward Girl. And it features a black girl. I mean, she's more like your age. She's like a young black young adult who is just kind of like living her life, kind of a little bit like Friends, honestly, or like what's that show with Zoe Deschanel?
New Girl.
New Girl, exactly. Kind of
I like those shows.
like the 20s living life thing, right?
Yeah.
So hers is called Awkward Girl, but she self-produced it before she got picked up. She was self-producing it and webcasting it, and she was talking about how she didn't have money to buy pantyhose because she was putting all her money into producing her webcast, and then she got picked up. But it used to be called Black Awkward Girl.
Oh my god!
But when they moved it, they just called it Awkward Girl. Yeah, and frankly, I'm not mad at her because I'd love to know what went into that. Because her main character still is this black awkward girl.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Gabriel says, have you guys heard anything about a dimension shift coming?
Towards the end of December 21st. I think we're all just waiting for it.
Oh, is that right? What is that? The solstice?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. We're supposed to be winter solstice.
Yeah, some cosmic shifting as
really?
well. So yeah, it's in the books.
It's in the books. It's in the skies.
Exactly. Thanks for participating, Gabriel.
We have heard about it. Apparently, Mercator's heard about it.
You haven't heard about it?
Well, I heard astrologically something was happening in December. But who did any one of you think that Trump was going to concede? That no matter what happened, does anybody who's watching us think he was going to be like, okay, I concede?
I thought he hated the presidency. I'm confused.
But I think he hates losing.
Well, that goes to show you. If you hate your job but you keep doing it out of spite because you don't want to quit or be a quitter or get fired, whatever.
Yeah, get fired. That's what it's like when you don't get elected a second time. That is like getting fired.
Yeah, it's like, that's enough.
Anyway, so this astrological thing was saying in December, we're going to have a spike. And I think we have the Electoral College that's going to meet in December.
See, the thing I've been thinking about, anything could really happen. We could be in war in December and just not know about it now. And I'm not saying that to strike fear, just saying it, just enjoy what we have now, basically. I just think about things like, well, it's so sad, I don't even want to bring it up, but like Hiroshima, just like one day it was like a war and the next day it was a whole different type of situation,
Yeah.
It's escalated. And if it were to escalate at any time, it would be with this president.
Oh, I know. That is a weird thing because he is still the commander-in-chief. Gosh, Makeda, thanks for putting fear in my tummy.
I'm not trying to scare you, I'm just saying don't...
Be grateful for this moment.
Yeah, exactly. And enjoy the hope that you feel with
I'm looking at this. We got a crazy chocolate lab over here. Let's see. Andrea is saying, as it opens, we become more aware. I realize how incredibly white movies have been. Yeah. Seeing Black Panther, black doctors with leads on shows.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's true. I know Makeda had a crush on that guy.
Jackson Avery.
Oh my God,
Grey's
that
Anatomy.
one. I know you weren't the only one. I know there was a lot of women crushing on him.
He's a classic.
Yeah, he's a classic. And then he got up there on the BET Awards one year. It was like right around Ferguson, and he's like, yo, we know it's black women who are out here, yo, and we're sorry. And I was like, Jackson Avery, just be for real.
You're like, I thought you were a coon, honey.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it.
And he was getting the State Farm Humanitarian Award. Girl, I don't know what State Farm is thinking.
So he's good in real life, too.
Oh, my God. He's much more fiery in real life than he is on that show.
Jackson.
Oh, Gabriel says he doesn't think Trump has a gumption to stay past January. Frankly, I'm like, I hope Biden has the gumption to take that White House, make them throw him out. Please.
How am I going to do that?
I don't know. What do we mean? Walk in there and be like, hell no, I will not go. This is my chair. I'm serious. I hate this fact.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I hate it too. It's just childish. All around it's just childish behavior.
Well, I don't think it's all around. I think Trump is being a baby, a tantrum baby.
A tantrum baby.
Carrie Morgan saying she anticipated this havoc. Yeah. Oh, Gabriel's talking about the FBI.
What are you talking about the FBI for?
Well, because some people are saying, the FBI will bust up in there and be like, you gotta go.
Oh,
This
maybe
truck.
he'll leave the country before. Because he does have a few warrants out.
Well, I mean, what plane is he gonna take? I guess he could charter one.
He could steal Air Force One.
Yeah. They said can evict him.
They can evict him.
Yes,
Ooh.
Andrea. That's what I want them to do. Put his stuff on the lawn. See what it's been like for people.
That's what they're saying. He's getting the full coronavirus experience. Unemployed, evicted. What's next? What is next? Hopefully he gets thrown in jail for fraud.
I mean, really, tax evasion. Hello. He has a few pending charges too. Good.
The IRS has been too kind with him.
Well, I mean, it is. They serve at the. Well, that's not true. I was gonna say they serve at the pleasure of the president, but that's not true. I don't know, but the president does appoint the head of the IRS.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. That's
I'm not
something
gifted with
interesting.
political history / science.
You said, Gabriel says the National Guard will escort him out. They might have to.
You know, I've been thinking for all we know. I'm just fear mongering. I'm not even.
Oh no! Is this gonna be another catastrophic statement?
Well, yes, but I don't think it'll be true. It's just another lockdown. I hope is coming. I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking forward to it.
Why?
I like being home
Oh my gosh!
with the family and my dog. We all make dinner together.
Okay, but it's like I work here, I eat here, I only get to see the people who live here. I'm an extrovert.
Okay. I forgot about that. That I can't leave if I
You
wanted
can't
to.
leave, and then I'm an extrovert. All the extroverts out here, let me hear from you.
Yeah, you need.
Let me hear you holler. Okay, so can we go back to Madam Vice President?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, thank you. So,
What's up?
just because, I was looking at this article and they were talking about, Madam Vice President
Kamala.
Kamala. How did you, Makeda made me say it wrong again.
No, I said it
Kamala.
I think they were saying her name wrong in the news for a while. Because how else would I have heard it and thought it was Kamala?
I know, too often. It was said incorrectly too long. But anyway, we got her now. She's Kamala. So I just want to say, they're analysts and scholars are starting to really break down or analyze what happened with Kamala on the ticket, like what impact did she have.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and they're saying that, she brought significance to that ticket. If you remember what Hillary did, Hillary brought on a very mild-mannered white man as her VP.
I don't even
candidate.
remember who her VP was.
Exactly. Nobody remember. I can't even remember his name right now. But he was the former
That's
governor
funny.
of Virginia. He's a very nice person. Apparently, very, very nice.
I know Hillary should have just sent it and gone to Stacey Abrams or someone like that.
Or I said Cory Booker.
Oh, yeah.
That could have been really exciting.
You mean Cory Bush?
No, I meant Cory Booker, the
Okay.
black senator from New Jersey.
I remember talking about it.
Yeah, because he was he a candidate in 2016? Was he one of the?
I don't.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't one of the candidates.
I wasn't too politically up to date in
That's right, because you were what? 12?
16, thank you.
Oh, you were 16 back
Or
then?
14. I'm always 1 year younger than the year it is.
Oh, so you were 15. Okay. Yeah, so she picked someone who totally didn't overshadow her, but who brought her nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't give her any spice, any promise.
But didn't give her didn't give black people any real reason to vote.
Oh no, this dog is
So
going crazy.
I nominate you to go take the dog somewhere, Makeda.
Guys, I'll take the dog somewhere. Don't worry about it.
Too much chocolate in our situation. Tim Kaine, you're right. Okay, you want to see the chocolate lab? Oh.
I'm taking her away.
Okay, the chocolate lab is being taken away.
She's not welcome here.
She's she's not welcome here. So, yes, it was Tim Kaine. So, before my co-host got pulled away by this chocolate lab who wouldn't stop barking, we were talking about Kamala and what does she bring to the ticket. And here's Kamala is it AKA Alpha Kappa Alpha, which is a historically black sorority. In fact, there are a number of very powerful political and public figures, black women public figures who are AKAs. So Kamala had a base of black women to draw on, and the demographic that voted the most consistently for Democrats, and in this race, the single proportionately biggest group for Biden was black women. So, and how are you going to get them to come out and vote? I mean, Michelle said it. She said, listen, it can get worse, and it is going to get worse if y'all don't get up out of here and vote and take some people with you, right? I mean, she did that to the camera on Zoom. So that was one thing. That was powerful. But then you got to put somebody on the ticket who we feel represents our interests. And so
Kamala was an interesting choice.
Kamala
was an interesting choice.
She was. What do you mean?
We've already talked about like her questionable background. By that, I just mean her background as a prosecutor, and we decided that people make mistakes. She has admitted to her wrongdoings, in some sense apologized for what she could.
Yeah, for over-incarceration of black people. Yeah.
And I mean, yeah. But just Biden knows what kind of campaign Trump is running. It's just, I wouldn't have expected him to choose a kind of an easy target, someone that you could smear easily.
And he couldn't. I mean, she did not. He could not smear her easily.
Gabriel doesn't think
Kamala represents our interests.
I don't know what her interests are.
Wow. Okay, Gabriel, well, whose interests do you think she represents?
That's a good question. Whose interests does Biden represent?
Well, I mean, that's why here we are in this moment, I feel. Because I don't think Biden is our savior. I think that Trump was just horrific and such a danger to people. Because you mentioned war, Makeda, on that level. Agree. I think he was an incredible danger to us, our safety. I think any minute he wanted to, he was willing to incite racial violence.
I agree. I mean,
I think that's also bad for us.
There's no like remorse that I sense off of him ever. I mean, like you said, when it comes down to danger and threat to life, that's when it gets too serious to have a president.
Yeah, like him.
Exactly.
Putting children in cages and adults in cages, and then 24-hour lights on them because you're mad that they came to apply for asylum. I mean, that is the kind of president and person he is. So I think the choice was clear between those two, but I don't feel like Biden has 100% of my interests. Maybe he's got 30%. I'm just being for real, but the choice was just so horrific, Okay. Oh, you think, so Gabriel says he thinks that Kamala is the law and order crowd. And Madeline thinks that Trump is a danger to democracy. Yes, 100%.
That's exactly right, yeah.
And then Natasha is talking about being tired about white female or white male-centered films, and black characters are just supportive to white characters.
Exactly.
Sidekicks.
It's something that you don't even question until someone calls it out. At least me being like a person fresh out of childhood. It's things you take in subliminally that you didn't really even accept. And I wonder, like, how has that also affected my white counterparts my age? Do they just see me as a side character?
Right.
Am I capable of being a main character in someone else's story?
Yep. Or in your story. Can you be a main character in your own story?
Sure can. I mean, the thing is, I just think it's hard not to. When you wake up every day alone, in your body, with your eyeballs, that's when you're most aware, like
you're the main character in your story. But I think she has to go to the bathroom. We're gonna have to wrap up soon.
I know,
because our time is coming to an end. But yeah, you're making a good point. When you wake up in your own body, you are your own. Yeah, and you can be tricked though. You can be tweaked. We want to let you guys know that next week we're actually going to talk more about feminism and Black lives. We want to talk about
Intersectionality.
intersectionality. Thank you, Makeda. That's what we want to talk about next week. And we're going to bring back our literary focus. So we're going to come back with some I have a book I want to suggest. It's by Adrienne Marie Brown, and it's called Pleasure Activism. So we'll talk more about that too. All right, y'all. Fresh
Bye,
out of childhood.
everybody.
Gabriel says you're fresh out of childhood.
That's what I said. He finds it funny.
Oh, you are. You're both fresh out of childhood.
Okay.
Okay, we
Amanda.
love you all. See you next
Bye,
week.
everybody. Thanks for tuning in.